Right, so I thought I'd do a quick YouTube live video. I'm just going to wait for a few people to come in, if any. Yeah. So yeah, we're just going to do a quick refactor based on some stuff I've been reading from a comment that I had on my previous video, or one of my videos, about the corner rounding in texture. I wasn't really I didn't really know that the you could do this, but if I call up the texture page, I'll just keep talking while see if we get more viewers on. So basically, texture has multiple different ways of doing the corner radius. So if we look at our Instagram clone, we're using just the raw text corner radius here, which apparently is the most expensive. So if I just bring my browser in, like here, and just call it up there. Yeah, so let's actually move that one back into there. Get another browser there. Yeah, so here, if we look for texture corner radius, can't spell radius, but you'll find it. Corner rounding, there you go. Yeah, big shout out to a guy called Daniel V. I'll try and find his comment in a minute. Yeah, he was super helpful. So we're going to look at this. I'll leave a link to the final video below, but it goes into like what the corner radius attribute on the nodes are doing, and it unbeknown to me, until he pointed this out to me, is that the corner radius one. So they've got this flow chart, and you answer these questions, and it tells you which one's the best one to use. But I found that this pre-composite with either alpha or opaque is the best one to use. So I've been using this, just a flat corner radius, and setting it up like that. And by default, let's convert that to Swift. And by default, they use this ASCornerRoundingTypeDefaultSlowCAlayer. So it's actually manipulating the CA layer. And this, as you're scrolling, can be very expensive on the device. So they recommend that you use either one of these other options based on this flowchart. Yeah, so they either recommend pre-composition or clipping. So we are in our app, we're going to use pre-composition. And yeah, I'm just going to, if we go back to our simulator, we've got our images here. Just as a quick side note, is that the JSON, I've actually gone around and looked for some proper scaled images. So some of these images have changed from the previous video. Yeah, so they've changed a little bit from the previous video. Hey, welcome to the live. Thank you for the chat. But yeah, so yeah, I've changed these images slightly just to to make them JPEGs, so they've got a white background, and they're more scaled. They're scaled better. So the JSON's changed, but when I do the commit, with the changes we're going to work on today, that new JSON will be in there. So yeah, getting back to the stuff on the corner radius, which we can see here. So I'm just going to drag that off screen for now. So we need to start manipulating these and refactoring these to work with that new style of corner radius. So so if we start off with the header node, which is this area here. So rather than giving it a background color, we'll delete that background color and then do profile image dot there should be a corner. What did they say it's called? Corner rounding type, and then this is an enum, so we can just do type in pre, and it should just give us a pre-composited there. And basically, what this is doing is creating a lower overhead on the device. So if you're scrolling super fast, the images are just like snapping, popping. If there is an if on this, that if these are scaled correctly. So like these big images here, they're massive. Now someone like Instagram would actually they would know what sort of device has sent the request, and they'll have an array of images based on on the scaling. So they wouldn't send you like a 3000 by 3000 image. They'd actually say, oh well, this is a mobile, so it could be on a poor connection, so we need to send it the lowest resolution or lowest scaled. So yeah, these images, as you're scrolling, you'll still get these blank squares, but because the device is not having to do all this overhead on the corner radius, you'll find that these little icons and the top icon, the stories icon, will always be there. That's how I understand reading this documentation. Like I say, I'll put a link to that, but from how I understand it, it's to do with the device scrolling, moving in a table view or a collection view. So it's all explained in here. There is some helper methods as well, which this here, convenience methods embedded into texture, that might be useful. But I'm just doing it this way because that's how the documentation explains it. So we set our corner rounding type. Our next point of call is to do the story node. So the story node is going to need a little bit of additional work. So let's put that back. Yeah, so we need to remove the background, and we now need to set the corner rounding type. Image node dot corner rounding type. Like I say, it's an enum, so we just find the pre-composited, and we'll just build and run based on those small changes. We're going to need to change other bits and pieces because the actual rounding becomes a square, so we have to manipulate the border color here on our story node. But when it's build and run, you'll see what I mean. So as you can see here, we've got our original border radius, around the circle, but we've also got this square. And to kind of fix that, we will now remove this border width, and again, something I didn't know texture had, but they've got image node dot image modification block, and then we can type in AS. I think it's image modification block. This one here, yeah. AS image node round border modification block, and we can actually say that we want the border to be like 2 pixels, and the color, we basically just have to put this logic into its own color. So if we say border color, like so, paste that in, so that just use the same logic we were setting here, but we're actually just giving it its own property or variable, and then we'll just shove that in there like that, and just do and that's it, and that should work, and that'll get rid of these square boxes that you can see here around the around the story icons here. So we stop, build and run. Why is that moaning? That should be fine. Why is it complaining? I should do it. Yeah, that's done it. Yeah, it doesn't need to be a CG color, so it's not using the core graphic stuff, clearly. And as you can see, the square box is gone, but we need to try and play around with the border width now. The border is there, so if we make that maybe like 7, we might be able to see that a little bit better. This is going to be a super quick live. It's just a little bit of refactoring, that's all. Yeah, I strongly recommend going and check out this article. It's super interesting about how it handles the rendering and stuff like that. Like in UIKit, you would have like rasterization, so you've got some form of caching on the layer, but you can still access the layer directly in texture. You just do your image node dot layer, but again, it's more overhead. It's super expensive on the device. And like I've been getting hammered lately, like people saying, "Oh, texture adds 10 meg and all this, that, and the other," to the project, and yeah, I totally agree, it does. But there's not only the declarative UI building, but it's also the asynchronous side of it as well. And like a lot of people say, oh, texture's only good for old devices if you're only supporting old devices, blah blah blah. Yeah, that's kind of true, but I like the framework. It's no different from like shoving component kit into your app and then writing an Objective C app using component kit or Yoga or something like that. They're all Yoga uses the Flexbox CSS stuff. I just happen to like texture, and that's kind of it, really. I use it at my work, where I work. I use it in my own apps as well. So yeah, but anyway, I'm slightly digressing there, going off on a tangent. But yeah, certainly read this. I'll put the link and everything into like when the recording's finished. I'll be putting this on my channel as well. When the live's finished, I'll be putting this on my channel as well. And you kind of see like using using from this flow chart, you can see like cornerRadius is like the worst grade, and then clip corner, A-, A, and A+. So we're kind of like using one of these two are the best options that you want to be looking for. But this flow chart's super useful. So is there movement through the corner? Yes, no. Are all 4 corners the same node? no, then they recommend doing this, yes, and then it's super simple to like work out what you need to do. So yeah, anyway, we've got our border back now. This user node here inherits from this cell, so we don't need to make any changes in this. The only other place I need to make changes is in the last comment node. So let me just give you an example of what happens if you leave the background white. So if you leave the background white and then set the corner rounding type to pre-composite, you'll find that this becomes square like it did with the header, the story cells. And let that build and run, and we will see, and I'll explain what it looks like. Hopefully you can see it. It might be a little bit small because it's the comment node that sits underneath there. Yeah, so now if we look at this Mario guy at the top, it's now become a square. So yeah, it's it's become a square. So yeah, that's kind of it really. That was, if we take that background out now and then recompile, it will be a circle again, and that's kind of like everything that we needed to do for refactoring. So yeah, it's just a quick live just to say, look, I'm doing some live coding and stuff like that, and I thought it might be quite cool to jump on and see if anyone that watches my videos jumped on as well, and maybe have a quick chat with you. But yeah, hope everyone that's watching the videos enjoying the series that I'm putting together. So the next plan for the video is, like I said, we're going to be looking at doing the profile, but we're also going to be looking at doing the tab bar as well. So how to create a tab bar programmatically. Now texture doesn't really offer its own like AS tab bar controller like it does with the AS navigation controller. So we'll be just doing stuff in flat UI kit, and because the tab bar is more of a container view, is no sort of, all you're interacting with are the tab bar buttons. So some of the things we'll cover is like just how to implement a selected and unselected button on a tab bar control, and how to add custom buttons, because if you look at the Instagram app, when you tap to do a new photo, it's actually presenting a view controller rather than just tabbing through. So we'll look at the delegate methods that you need to implement to we'll look at the delegate methods that you need to implement so that you're not just using a flat tab controller. You can actually say, is this view controller of type whatever, and then if it is, then you want to present it rather than using it as a separate tab. So we'll be looking at stuff like that, some of the delegate methods and stuff. So yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Quite looking forward to that. I've already sort of like done a bit of pre-work for that, so I've already added these icons. So you've got a selected home and an unselected home button, and then you've got a selected like button, empty like a search button that's not selected, and then a selected search button, and then we've got the add image icon here. And a profile as well. Eventually I might try and build some sort of like Firebase backend so that we can say like, have they got a image saved and stuff like that. It depends, because I want to use Firebase on something completely different, not this tutorial. So yeah, I'm just going to catch up with what people are saying in the chat. Looking at One of the questions here is how come I'm not using PDF for my icons? PDF? Is that, do you mean PNG or PDF? I'm using a PNG for my icons because they'll be transparent. I think I might misunderstood your question. Oh. Yeah, I don't quite follow the question. PDF, the PDF would just be a file, like a document file. I would either use an SVG or PNG, like a vector. PDF instead of a PNG, so you can use template, and you only need one. No need for the different sizes. I don't know. I've never tried it. I didn't know you. Yeah, I've never tried it. I've only ever used vectors and PNGs. Surely you would lose resolution on higher scale devices like iPad Pro or something like that. Would you not? That's a good point. I'll take a look, but I would have thought you would lose resolution on that. I've never used a PDF. Always used, and the designers most of the time will handle the resizing for me. I would just say I need 3 images, like an at 3x, 2x, and or 1, and just give it to the designer and say deal with that for me, and they normally do. So, but it's a good point. I'll definitely have a look. Maybe even do a tutorial about it as well. Oh, okay. Okay. I'm interested now. So look. Oh, so you'd have to be using something like Sketch. Yeah? Okay. This is quite an old article, though. Pause me. So I'm looking at this. Let's just call up the chat again. So would that not? Oh, okay. Yeah, I see. Oh, nice. Yeah, definitely. I'll definitely do a tutorial around that because that's pretty cool. I just don't have Sketch. I use Figma or Photoshop, but I'm sure you can probably do the same. Figma's pretty pants though. Yeah, maybe it's time to start doing some sketch stuff. They're probably all pretty much a much. Yeah, nice. Oh, cool. I'll definitely have a look. Yeah, nice one. Yeah, so these just getting back to these images. These are just at 3x, 2x, 1, and yeah, they've already been dragged in. But yeah, that was pretty much it. That's all I really wanted to cover today. Just do my first live video, first live stream on YouTube, just to see how it went. I wasn't expecting a massive audience, but yeah, thanks for dropping by as well. Like to check out the stream. That's pretty cool. And yeah, I'll definitely look at doing that tutorial. That pretty makes sense what I read there in that article. So yeah, thanks for raising it. Yeah, we'll definitely look at that. But yeah, as for now, we're going to keep it as the free images. But I'll definitely have a play around with that. But yeah, hopefully the stream's not been too car crash, and yeah, this will be going up live on the channel in a bit, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video. See you later. Bye.